and then try to score in your own right. But I think now the clock's rolling and they only got a minute and a half left. And with the way that Arbaugh's been throwing it, you don't want to turn a 10-point lead into a 3-point lead. So I can understand why they're a little bit conservative at this point.
Hand off. Again, forward with Henry. Met in the backfield again by Greenwood. Greenwood's been very active on this last couple of plays.
Well, that was huge, too, because he stayed in bounds. I mean, the clock keeps rolling, and Skyline only has one timeout. Lost the 2 there. So now third. And if Saline's able to hold Skyline to a field goal here, I think that's huge, but I think this is 4-down territory. I would be very, very surprised if you saw the Eagles bring up the field goal team here. They're going to try to do everything that they can to punch it in here and get themselves a little bit of momentum before we head into halftime here with 45 seconds to go. I tell you what, though, Skyline's normally has a pretty big offensive line, but they are not big at all. I mean, they are quite undersized. He's good.
Tackled by Wisniewski. Fumble again.
The question was I think the official saying
they ruled he was down.
And the clock continues to roll, and now Saline.
Skyline may use their last timeout.
And this is huge
and
for
they
the Hornets. This is absolutely huge.
There's an injury. I'm sorry. And it may be Pimpkins. And that would be a huge loss, I think, for us.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be. I think it is. I think they're going. It's like number 9. Their backup for them is coming in.
4th and 3.
Who happens to be a sophomore. But because Pimpkins was down on the field, they did. If they call a timeout, he doesn't have to come out. But if they don't call the timeout, he will have to come out. Yeah, and that's what they're doing. They're calling a timeout. So that's what they're under rule. They have to call that timeout, and that allows Pimpkins to stay in the game. So it'll be 4th and 3 with 28 seconds remaining here in the first half. Ball on the Saline 4-yard line. My guess is, as we talked a little bit earlier, Nathan, about the special teams, that Skyline may not have the same comfort level either with their field goal kicker.
Well, I think that's why you're definitely going to see them go for it. I would be absolutely shocked if you didn't see them go for it here. I mean, they're at the 4-yard line. I mean, and Pimpkins has had success when he's had the ball in his hands, even though this is maybe when you have to go to plan B because your quarterback just took a big hit and went down in a heap, and you don't necessarily want to have that opportunity happen to again right after. You almost want to let him catch his breath a little bit, but at the same time, you wonder if they have any other really big playmakers because at this point they really haven't shown that.
So here we go.
And they are going for it here, and if Skyline's not able to get this, Polka calls a timeout, perhaps sees something he doesn't like. He has to run halfway out into the field.
No, well, the ref had already stopped the play anyway, and they are forcing. Now, see, apparently the rule has changed because they're telling Pimpkins he cannot play at quarterback. And I thought the rule is if you use a timeout, you could stay in the game, but apparently not. So
Saline calls a timeout now, and now you wonder, are they going to kick a field goal to try and get it to a 2-possession game?
Well,
because, I mean, with your backup in, who's a sophomore, Pimpkins being your only really big offensive playmaker, I may think of just trying to kick the 3 here with Pimpkins out.
Well, Addison Taylor Coquillard is the backup quarterback for Skyline. It's an impressive name.
You see Dwayne Wilson there wearing the headset along with Randy Dunny and Mark Langos. Wilson, a former XFL football player who was played college football at Ferris State, actually was an offensive tackle. Took over after Ron Shields left, so he's been at the defensive coordinator position for quite a while now. He's been coaching with Saline for the last 25 years, teaches over at the alternative high school, teaches math, I believe. But that's the thing is, like, Saline's defense, that defensive side, you even see Coach Test, Paul Test, who is Ann Arbor Pioneers co-associate head coach way back when.
Here we go on 4th down. See what they do.
Fumble the snap and that.
That's the problem with the new quarterback, and not with the it's you would be better off in that type of situation, because they're not used to taking under center, is to take the shotgun snap, and then it's easier for the quarterback to catch that ball. But ball goes over on downs with 24 seconds remaining here, and Saline actually can just take a knee if they want.
Absolutely,
and run
that's
off
what
the
I
clock.
would do. That's what I would do, especially at your, you're backed up in the shadow of your own end zone here. Take a knee, regroup at halftime, and that is a huge stop for them. And Skyline has a little bit of life here, has the potential to put some points on the board, and it's all for naught. And they go into half down by 3. They're just going to run it. And Hayden Scott gonna go forward for the first down.
Scott picks up about 9.5, and that'd probably be the last play of the first half, unless they really hustle. But it doesn't appear anybody's in a real big hurry, so that will be your halftime score, with Saline 17, Skyline nothing. And like I say, Saline was just trying to work on stuff here in the first half. They gave a lot more running backs touches early in this game.
And they're going to be looking to improve to 4-1 here on the year so far, with some momentum against Pioneer. And as always, I am Nathan Stearns, and we will be back in 10 minutes to bring you guys the second half.
Presenting your 2018 Saline High School Marching Band. When you think of our wonderful Canadian neighbors to the north, what comes to mind? Beautiful wilderness, ice hockey, really polite people who love maple syrup, or maybe those special quarters that don't go in the vending machines. Well, we think about all the great Canadian artists that have shared their music with the world. Our show tonight salutes musicians of Canada, starting with the 1960s powerhouse band Steppenwolf, featuring guard soloist Grace Riley and drum major Michael Lance on the podium. Here's Magic Carpet Ride. music, ingenious musical complexity, and philosophical lyrics. With drum major Holden Collins on the podium, here is Rush's 1981 hit, Tom Sawyer. Canadian singer and songwriter Leonard Cohen has crafted many beautiful melodies that are known around the world. Tonight we feature baritone soloist Grace Franklin, snare soloist Max Schneider, and guard soloist Claire Young in one of his most recognizable compositions, Hallelujah. To close our show, we jump ahead to just last year for a reggae Latin song written by Puerto Rican Louis Fonsi, but featuring Canadian pop star Justin Bieber. Here's music from the most viewed music video on YouTube with over 5.5 billion views,
It's a great night for football, a great opportunity to see your Hornets in action, and so come on out and join us. Should be you might get an opportunity here in the second half to see some players that you don't normally get to see, and that's always good. They do the second and third string practice just like the first string, and sometimes it's harder because they're going against the number one team, either on offense or defense. Plus, they don't get a lot of glory time. They don't get a lot of time to see mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, or whoever else out there on the field. So it's nice to get some playing time and hear people cheer for them. So if you get an opportunity, swing on out. I know that we have people all over the country listening to our broadcast. Text me if you are listening, or text Nathan. But I know we have people listening out in Wisconsin, some down in Ohio, some here locally who just couldn't make it out for the game. The Grinders are usually tuned in. Ron, Ellen, and David like to listen to our broadcast, and the Gilbert family in Wisconsin likes to tune in. Paul Whitfield's usually tunes into our game. Grandma Pateri down there in Florida, she likes to listen. We get a lot of people in Florida actually listening to our broadcast, so and that's something that you might get to see. We don't historically broadcast playoff games. Hasn't been something we've done, but this year we may actually do that, because as those of you who aren't know, we now charge a $10 monthly fee to listen to our broadcast. And that's because of some cameras that Nathan can probably explain better than I can. So why don't you do you know anything about those new cameras, Nathan?
Well, I don't know if we got any new ones this year. I know my senior year when I graduated last year, we traded in a lot of the older ones that we had. I won't go into too much technical detail because I'm just... but anyway, we gave the older cameras that we had, they were still... really nice, but we gave them to the middle school for their multimedia program, and we got professional level equipment that was really, really, really fun to work with my senior year. I was in Hornet Nation my junior and senior year, and just the equipment that we worked with in terms of cameras, my senior year they were Panasonics, but what they were professional level. They were really good for more of the video aspect of things, because sometimes you get more photography things and sometimes you get more video cameras, and those were they had phenomenal storage. They were really, really you could film athletic events when it was raining, when it was snowing. I remember me and a couple of my Hornet Nation classmates all drove up to Mountain Brighton, and they had to film a ski meet in mid-January when it was 10 below and the wind chill was bad, so that was fun. But
and you probably only wore a t-shirt that day.
Yeah, I did.
But no, actually, and Mr. Bush was telling me, we have them mounted on the press box. We have these pixel cameras that automatically follow the play. They're a small camera on both ends of the press box, and it's something that in coordination with the Michigan High School Athletic Association. So we'll get more details on it. But anyway, by using those cameras, we're going through the MHSAA website as well. And so we may be able to broadcast playoff games where we haven't done that in the past.
That'd be a lot of fun, too.
Yep, it is. It is. So I've announced them, but I've never broadcast them. So it might be an interesting something to see, and it's generally a more exciting football game.
It is. It's a completely different feel, and that's when you see the cream rise really to the top. Because I mean, there is something. It's just a lot more fulfilling as a fan when you go into a game, not necessarily knowing what the outcome is going to be, versus when you're playing Huron or Skyline and you kind of know before the game starts, that Saline's probably going to be in pretty good shape. But I know in the past we weren't able to broadcast the playoff games just because of some licensing issues and cost and all that stuff. So hopefully if we're able to get that squared away. The first thing, though, is the Hornets need to acquire a home playoff game, at least one.
That would be phenomenal.
Because I don't think we can broadcast if it's on the road.
Well, we wouldn't broadcast it.
Yeah, I don't.
So. But Ewing takes the kickoff, fumbles it, returns it out to the 22-yard line where Morrison makes the tackle. Pipkins back in at quarterback, hands it off inside.
Solid run in between the tackles there. Cut inside and cut back out. And it's going to be 3rd and 1 for the Eagles.
Solomon Putton on the Putin
3rd and 5 for the for the Eagles.
on the carry.
2nd and 4.
They're going to give him 6 yards on the spot, so it'll be 2nd and 4 on the play, on the down.
And you're probably not going to see Saline pull their first stringers rather until definitely maybe the 4th quarter. I mean, they are up 17-0, but there still is a lot of stuff that they can work on. But I tell you what, Jonah Ashby has had himself a game. That's about the 3rd tackle he's had when they've tried to run to his side, and they have yet to block him.
And he had a phenomenal game last week, too. He racked Bedford's quarterback twice on big plays. He just really had a big game. I was talking to his father after the game, and he did have a big game last week. So it's good to see. He's following in his older brother's footsteps and just having a good high school career.
Yeah, Caleb was quite the football player. Saline, 4 down linemen, 3 backers, and
Pipkins keeps the ball, cuts it up inside.
And I think he got it from at least this angle. I think it's going to be close, but that's been their only offense. And, I mean, on one hand, you know, he's trying to do his best Cam Newton, Russell Wilson impression, but on the other hand, you really don't want to have your quarterback running for his life and constantly taking that heat. Because, I mean, at least from up here, it doesn't look like he looks like a relatively durable guy, but he doesn't look like he's got 250 pounds of weight just to spare like Cole Daniels did either.
Exactly. And he did have 2 nice long passes there at the end of the first half. So, but he's running over the sidelines to get those plays. He's burning a lot of play clock down to 4 seconds. They may be forced to burn a timeout. They will, or they'll take a delay of game, one of the two. And no, it is a timeout. And that's one of the risks that you have is if your quarterback has to run all the way over to the sideline and take that play, it just doesn't leave you enough time to get set. Back in my day, back in the ancient years, 1,000 years ago, they used to run in the play. Somebody ran in the play. And it keep the process going. And with the amount of substitutions like Saline does on offense, it would be easy to do. Have one of the receivers rotate in with the play call. But Skyline can't afford being down 17 to be burning timeouts with 10:24 remaining here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, what Saline normally does with their play calling is they'll have coaches on the sideline with different hand signals, or they'll hold up different signs. They kind of do the same process that a lot of NFL teams do, but they'll normally do different hand signs. They'll get the receiving coach and the quarterback's coach that will be giving different things, and that signals to the quarterback what to call out.
Carry by Henry on the play. No game.
I tell you what, too, they're using a little bit of clock here with this slow running game. I mean, they've already taken 2 minutes off the clock, and they're not even across the 35-yard line. And, I mean, if you're Saline, I mean, I wonder about the strategy because, I mean, I think you're wearing out your quarterback a little bit, too, running back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
No question about it. Now, the other thing we know is because the numbers are so small on Skyline, their coaching staff is small as well. They have 2 guys up here in the box, and it looks like they only have a couple of guys on the sidelines, where Saline has 5 or 6 guys up in the box, and an equal number on the sideline. There's a flag on the play.
I think it's in the back. I think it's going to be a block in the back against Skyline. From what I saw, I think it was Wisniewski that was trying to make the tackle, and he got hit pretty hard by one of the Skyline offensive linemen. I think it was number 50 for them. However, don't necessarily know what the flag is going to be, but more of the time than not when it's thrown right around the line of scrimmage, it is going to be a block in the back. That's what I thought. And it's a killer for them. You know, now they're backed up. But, I mean, what can you say about Saline? They're just getting pressure and pressure and pressure, and Pinkins is running for his life. This time it was Wisniewski and Ashby that got in, and then Gammo was able to bring him down. Saban was in there as well, and now that's a costly penalty, and they lose. What would that be, 2nd 24 now for the Eagles?
Yes, 2nd 24.
And now if you're Saline, you have to be prepared. I would be shocked if they try and run. I would be shocked if they try and run it here. Definitely think that. And
Pipkin
Pipkin-
airs it out again, but he's looks like they lost the ball in the light because Griffin threw it to Griffin and he just never picked it up. I think he was focused on the receiver and never picked up the ball because almost drilled him. But sometimes you get up above. That was a high lofting pass. That's one thing about Pimpkins. He doesn't throw a rope. He like to get it downfield. He has to air it out high.
He does, and it's worked.
It has worked.
It's worked so far, but and now at this point, you wonder if Saline's going to blitz. I think that they'll be content to only rush 3 or 4 here. They're going to rush 4 with the way Pimpkin. That's not going to work.
Quarterback draw, and that went nowhere.
That went absolutely nowhere, and that might. You burned 3 minutes off the clock here. Now they're going to have to punt it deep in their own territory. Now you get Mail and Zach back there. Little surprised that they don't have Clemega or Griffin taking the ball back, but nonetheless, Skyline's punter hasn't really shown the ability to even kick it to Mail and Zach on the straight line. They've been trying to angle it toward the sidelines.
Well, I think what they're also trying to do is they're not throwing the ball a lot tonight, so Colton's not getting a lot of action, so they're hoping to get some spark out of him in the return game. But like you say, they haven't been able to get it to him yet. So, and again, a little bit of a high snap.
Not a great punt either. It's going to be right
and
into
a fair catch again inside the 40-yard line at the 38, which is where Saline will take over. 1st and 10 at the Skyline 38-yard line. So ineffectively an 8 yards gained from that punt.
Exactly, and you wonder now if Saline's able to punch it in again. I think once they get, from what I know playing with Coach Polka, I think once they get to around the clock is when they start taking out the ones. But you're still 18 points away from that being the case, and obviously, with all due respect, in 2 weeks, the reserves normally play a heck of a lot against Huron, because we were beating them by 50 points at halftime last year, and the reserves played the entire second half.
Monday on the carry.
So they're going to be trying to get the first stringers a little bit more reps, knowing that that's what's coming down the pipeline, that the reserves are going to have a chance to play quite a bit in a couple games. So, don't get me wrong, they're not going to extend them farther than they need to, but there is still some stuff. I'm sure Polka would like to see, maybe some short passes from Arbaugh to get his accuracy going a little bit more, because he's going to have to be more accurate, especially next week against Pioneer.
Clemega on the carry. Bulls his way inside the 30-yard line. Pick up about 5, brings up 3rd and 2, so another 4 yards on it. Joel's run hard tonight.
He has
really
run hard. Monday's run very well too. Clemega, they've been really patient, is what I've noticed. They've been getting 4 or 5 yards every time, and that's good. That gives you a first down, continues the clock rolling. They've done a pretty good job running into the Skyline defense. They're not breaking 20, 30-yard games, but they're getting 3, 4, 5 yards every time they touch the ball. That was 3rd and 2, and I believe that will be a first, or it will be 4th and inches. I thought he got it from up here.
I did too. They may measure. They're giving it 4th down.
It's not a big deal at this point. Clock continues to roll down with the 7-minute mark here. Saline going to go with the hurry up, and I think he did get it.
Yeah, Monday carries the ball, gets the first down.
Didn't get it by much, but will continue to fall forward, and that's great if you're Saline now. I believe if you're Polka, I think you're going to continue to run it, because they're doing what Canton loves to do, run 2-3 yards and just melt the clock. Yeah. What Canton always killed us with was they'd run it, and then you start committing more into the box because you're preparing for the run, and then you float one pass, over the top of the defense, and, it's an 80-yard touchdown. And that's how they beat us last year, was they didn't pass a lot. Arbaugh with a rollout. And we're going to get a
pass
flag.
Interference on the play.
And you know what? That was a heck of a throw by Arbaugh. I know certainly didn't come down with it, but those are the kind of throws that they're going to need to make. He threw it right. And give Skyline credit. They've actually had very good coverage here tonight. That's one thing.
They do have athletes in their
team. They do. But I think some of that, too, is Saline normally does a lot of deception, and they try to do a lot of different things, a lot of different formations. Tonight it's been a lot more just, vertical routes straight up the seams. There's not been a lot of movement. But they've done a good job hanging with Saline's fast wide receivers. But that was a phenomenal throw by Arbaugh. He was lobbing a lot of the ones earlier, but that was a frozen rope, and it was right on the back shoulder of Sitterly. And that is a huge penalty. Saline now in field goal range once again.
First and 10 at the 13-yard line.
And we're almost halfway through the third quarter here. Arbaugh runs it.
Monday gets the ball, carries it inside the 10 down to about the 9-8-yard line.
Solid run there for him. 4 more yards, and the clock continues to go down here. And you wonder if they are able to punch it in. I think a lot of it depends, too, on... I think if you have a 24-point lead in the fourth quarter, then you might start bringing some of the subs in, but it depends if Skyline scores quickly or if they take a long time. Get the ball downfield a little bit. And see, that's
Monday
a great
cuts
cutback.
it up inside and
I think he
scores.
fell for. That's a great cutback. Not a lot of room where he was originally planning to go. Saline extends the lead 23-0. And with the point after by Turner here, the Hornets will be up 24-0. That was a great run by Saline right there. That was a great cutback, too.
It was. There was a really, and he read it, and that's what they say about running backs. They got to have vision. They see where the hole develops. If they have patience, he had patience. He cut it back inside instead of going to the outside. He would not have made the end zone had he continued outside, so he cut it back in. Skyline over pursued, and he got the 6.
Well, and that's what you expect a senior running back to do who's gotten significant playing time the last 2.5 years. And that's one thing that's just really impressed me about Saline's running backs is it's been a long time since you see them be this patient. They bounce it outside, they bounce it inside, and they've been content to get 3, 4, 5 yards every time. And that shows a lot of maturity for them because with a lot of these opponents, they want to get 20, 30, 40 yards every time, but that's not how you're going to win a lot of these games. It's one in between the trenches, slowly but methodically burning the clock and slowly but methodically wearing down your opponent. Saline is in the driver's seat here. I know that's Saline defense on the sideline. They want to pitch. They definitely want to pitch a shutout here.
Yes, they do, and and so far so good. With 6:13 remaining here, so they got a quarter and a half to go. And again, see what Turner has purposely not kicked it in the end zone. And on that last kickoff, you saw that number 13 fumbled the ball, and in those circumstances, sometimes that causes a break in coverage, but Saline responded well, tackling him at the 22-yard line.
Not going to lie, I don't know who is on the auto track right there, but playing Country Roads was absolutely awesome. Turner going to be looking to kick it, pin the Eagles deep here. Going to be interesting to see. We know he has enough lag. He's not booting it as hard as he can.
But
that will be a touchback, though, yeah.
And he didn't even try.
No,
so
I know.
That tells you that what he was doing earlier, and so they probably said, make sure you air it out once, just so that you know that it wasn't a problem with your leg or anything.
Well, what I believe a lot is what they're going to do, talking from experience. A lot of times when we had Skyline, and then we had Pioneer, and then we have Huron, you're going to do different things. You get it on the film. You don't necessarily review a lot of it the next week because you are preparing for Pioneer, who is, is pretty good. But it's the week after when you're playing Huron, when you spend those couple days, yes, you're reviewing Hurons, whatever, but a lot of times you'll say it a little bit after practice, and you're reviewing from that Skyline game. So maybe not next week, but it's going to be the week after where.
Yep.
And I tell you what, he has just been taking a beating all game long, running in the teeth of the Hornets defense, running inside, outside. And if I'm the Eagles head coach, Sogart's here at this point, I think you have to be pretty careful about having your quarterback. He's already been down once, but, you're down 24
And he can beat a lot of teams. So, Skyline has enough talent to beat a lot of teams.
They do.
So they can be close to win 4 or 5 games with the talent that they have.
And they beat Okemos. They killed Adrian, and they still have Huron left. I don't know what the rest of their schedule is. I think that they'll probably be underdogs against Monroe. They'll probably be. I want to say they'll be underdogs against Bedford. But then again, I don't necessarily know what to expect from Bedford. Are they the team that showed up the first 3 quarters against Saline? Because if they are, then Skyline has a decent shot. But if they are the team that played the last quarter against Saline, then I think Skyline's going to have a little bit of a hard time. But the bottom line is they have 2 wins, and they still have Huron. So I think they will definitely get to 3 wins, and they do have a potential to get to 4 wins. And that's the best that they've. I can't remember exactly when they came in for their first football team. I think it was in 08 or 09, but the best they've ever been is 4-5. They've never had a 500 year, and they probably won't have it this year. But they're making strides, especially after last year's abysmal performance. They only had 2 wins last year. They were a little bit better. They fought Dearborn tooth and nail week 9 of last year at Dearborn, and Dearborn had to beat them in overtime. And Dearborn was a team that made the playoffs last year, so they have it in them. It's just a week-to-week thing.
Right. And again, I go back to the same thing. They need more numbers. They need bodies out there. Pimpkins falls back to pass, throws it down over the middle. And the one thing that he also has, he has receivers that can jump.
He does. Well, they have some height, too, out there.
Right.
I mean, they have a bunch. I mean, they got number 4 for them, number 13, probably pushing 6'2", 6'3". It's just, they're having a hard time. Because he's having a hard time throwing it on the line. A lot of it's these jump balls, and frankly, Saline's got a lot of height in that secondary, too, between Griffin and Zambek and Greenwood, who are all, Griffin's, I think he's 6'2". They got him at 6'2". Hill's 6'3". Greenwood is 5'11", 6 feet. So they have some guys out there that are pretty tall, and they're just throwing it deep now.
And knocked down by number 12.
Good job there
Noah
by Nelson. And he's a guy who Saline's really going to have to improve. He's played. His older brother Josh Nelson was a heck of a baseball player. I think he's going to Wayne State now. But he got shredded a little bit against. He got beat inside a couple times against Chippewa, and he was the reason that Grand Rapids scored that touchdown later in the game. But that's a good pass breakup right there. Follow the track of the ball, not the track of the receiver, which is what they teach you. And Skyline at this point not a great snap and another
horrible punt. It's a dangerous punt because it might hit somebody, like the official.
And it's going to bounce. It's going to take a Skyline roll and bounce at about the 44 of Saline. That's the second punt in a row for Skyline that has been really, really miserable. And now Saline, if they punch it in here, you get the feeling that that's when they're really going to start breaking into the reserves here at the start of the 4th quarter.
And I agree with you there, but I think they're going to keep it on the ground again. It just there's no need to pass, and
well, they haven't had to pass all night.
Right.
And at this point, it's about not getting yourselves hurt, and it's about staying smart and practicing your base plays well. Because there is something to be said about going up against live competition.
Little misread there, and Arbaugh keeps the ball. Thought he was going to hand it off, but he bulls his way forward. He took a couple of hits, but kept on going, picks up about 7.
See, maybe that's me just being a little bit more whatever, but I'm not a huge fan of that call just because we saw Arbaugh take a couple hits earlier and he's coming back from injury. And I don't really know if you want him moving around in space in a 24-0 game with the games that you have still left on the docket. He's not a really big body, and you don't really want Skyline's middle linebacker crushing it. You know what I mean? Maybe that's me being a little bit Clemengo with a good broken tackle.
Oh, that's they're going to get a couple of penalties here on Saline. Hayden Scott's going to pick up one of them, and I think there was another one downfield.
We got another Skyline player down on the injury, and he's down in a heap. And boy, they just don't have a lot of people, and that's. It just, I don't understand how you can have a school with almost 2,000 people and only have 25 players. I mean, at what point do you just think of folding your JV team and bringing all those guys up to varsity just for manpower alone? I think that, I don't know, but I wonder who it's going to be on.
Well, it was clearly on Hayden Scott was one of them, but I think there were actually 2 holding penalties on the play. So they'll take the one that was further back and back him up there. But the reason on the play before, the reason Arbaugh ran that ball is he thought he was handing it off, and when he went to hand it off, his running back was already gone.
Yeah.
So it was more of a broken play, but you're right. We don't want him. The injured player for Skyline is number 55. He's walking off gingerly. That's Eric Rory. He's a senior.
Looks okay. He's off on his own part and he's jogging to the sideline. But yeah, I'm probably not bringing him back in for the rest of the night here. What's the point? It's 2nd and 13 now. Saline probably going to run it at least one more time here, trying to further melt the clock as we approach the waning stages of the third quarter. And once again, we get Max Fair that's going to check in. And the question now is for Fair, are they just not playing him as much? You know, I don't know if they're not playing him as much because maybe he's new and he's just learning the playbook. Maybe he'll play more next week and the week after, you know, trying to get some more reps. Or maybe it's because, you know, with Monty Green out. I don't know, because I know Monty Green was playing at linebacker for the Hornets, doing a really good job.
Tell him what that last play was, Nathan.
I don't know what that was.
Oh, man. Well, that was a pass out to M.J. Griffin. Lost a couple of yards there, so brings up 3rd and about 14.
And they're bringing they're bringing the box here. Good pickup.
Harbaugh's got plenty of time.
And lofted
Intended for Hayden Scott, but it was great coverage by number 2. They have good corners. Solomon Putton on the coverage, so that was very good coverage. So.
Yeah, but you're not seeing a lot of the Saline receivers doing a lot. They're just running, you know, straight 15-yard shallow routes. They're not trying to, you know, run a bunch of really complex sort of things. They're kind of playing it pretty straight up, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. Obviously, we know that they have a lot more in the playbook than what they're showing. Cropsey with a solid punt there. Back to about the 15. And he might be gone. Cropsey, yep, he ain't going to make the tackle. And that's going to be a special teams touchdown for Skyline, and there's going to be a couple of flags. Some of the Skyline coaches having a meltdown in the press box next to us. By jumping up and down. And I think that's going to bring it back. I don't know necessarily what the foul was. But
illegal block in the back was one indication. And the only one that could have been a block in the back of was Cropsey.
I don't think that was a great call, but because I think Cropsey just fell. I think he got juked out, but Saline will take it. Saline will take it. The Skyline coach is not happy at all with that call. But you know, you got to regroup here. I mean, Saline will take it, but definitely some blown coverages there.
They were returned by number 18, Andrew Lafferty.
Skyline going to have the ball at the 33 of Saline.
I think he's at the 43.
Or the 43-yard line, excuse me.
Yeah.
He's going to walk it, but he already did.
And the officials not dropping the ball.
They're having a little trouble playing monkey in the middle out there. So.
And now I don't know where they're moving the ball to at this point.
43-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 10.
It was at the 43.
Skyline at the 43.
With 3 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
And while it took the score off the board, it was a nice return, even with the penalty.
It was a very nice return. You know, those are the plays that Saline has to make here. I mean, those are, you know, you're going to be facing a lot of athletic returners, and we've seen their special teams be extremely disciplined so far this year, a little bit of an uncharacteristic thing, but that was almost a little bit of a broken return here too. When you have an athlete like that cuts back toward the other end of the field, you almost open yourselves up for something weird like that happening.
Pipkin's pass goes over the head of his intended receiver, but he was on a heavy pressure.
He was, yeah.
4 Hornets were in there chasing him.
I'm surprised they haven't pulled Pipkins yet, to be completely honest with you, because he's just been taking hit after hit after hit after hit. And
like we've noted, I mean, he's a good football player. And so if they're going to win some more football games, they're going to need him.
They are going to need him. Saline's been the class of the SEC Red, but I can definitely see them giving Bedford and Monroe especially a run for their money. I think they have a good shot against Monroe. Maybe not as good against Bedford. I think that they very well could get the 4 wins this year.
Pipkin's pass is complete to number 13.
Soft coverage there by Saline. A little bit more zone defense, good.
Gammo comes back to make the tackle.
Solid tackle there, combo between Nelson and Gammo here.
Ewing on the catch.
2 minutes to go here. And
Well, I think what you're going to see with Skyline is their speed is going to create problems for Bedford and
exactly.
Monroe.
Well, because they're flat out, they out athlete both of those schools.
Right.
They do.
Oh,
They
yeah.
do. And problem being, though, with Bedford, more often than not, is very well disciplined. But after tonight, I think we're going to get a better clue of how good Bedford is with them playing Pioneer. Because, I mean, they looked abysmal the first 3 quarters. And I think they're probably a
Pass
little bit
again to
somewhere in the
third.
middle. That's
Pass.
good tackle by Nelson.
Was.
Does a good job. Did a good job reading Pipkin's eyes there. Went right for the aim. That's how they teach you to tackle. You can't go for the head anymore.
2nd and 3, or a pickup of 3 makes it 2nd and 7
This is with the third quarter continues to wind down here.
with about 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Yeah, those will be interesting games. If Skyline can stay healthy and pop a couple of big plays, it's
You know, you never know.
and
Gamma
Pipkin.
once again, Pimpkin, yeah.
and he's sacked for a huge loss.
He just lost about. And, you know, you can say that he has to get rid of the ball, but he had backside pressure, and it's kind of hard to get rid of the ball when you, like, almost right as you get the snap, there's already pressure. I mean, Saline's defensive line is just they had a field day, and now it's going to be third and a mile.
17.
And this might be, and I'm going to wonder here if they're not able to convert it. I mean, I think it's going to go down to the fourth quarter. My question is, are you going to see the ones for Saline come in, or are you going to see the second string come in? That's always something that, you know, you definitely wonder about. Pimpkin under pressure again.
Long pass down. And that's where the D-back, or the receiver turned into the D-back.
That's a good job by Griffin there, not try to do too much, because a lot of times when you try to make the interception, you lose focus a little bit. Griffin does a good job there knowing the down and distance. It's going to make it 4th and 17. And I don't know if they're going to go for it. I think they are going to go for it here. Just 58 seconds to go left in the third quarter.
And like you say, I don't think they have anything to lose here. They need a score. They need to have a little spark. So let's see if they and they've got
Clock running low, yeah, or they just got it off. He
Pimpkins,
got hit again, and there's another flag.
and they catch it.
Well,
That 13 that Ewing has made.
Well, I mean, what can you
Now,
do there? That's just
well,
a
what
jump.
you gotta like is the official scores a signal a touchdown, but unfortunately it's at the 10. So
Well, what was the flag for? That was my question. There was a flag in the
it
backfield.
might be holding, might be a late hit.
It's going to be holding on Skyline, and boy, that's just second time this drive. Any time they've had any chance, they've really shot themselves in the foot. I mean, most of it's been good coverage by Saline. It's just been those, you know, frantic jump ball opportunities. I mean, you know,
Correct.
you could cover Calvin Johnson with 3 different guys, but it, you know, after a while, it just becomes so hard at this point. Question is, I'm surprised they're not going to punt it here now. I mean,
Yeah, I would think that you have to, but
because now it's fourth and
4th and 31.
Yeah, that's because at this point, I don't.
Yeah.
Or what are they going to do? Call a timeout? No, they're going 4th and 27 at the 45-yard line of the Hornets. I know they've had success here, but I think you just need to protect your quarterback more than anything else. I mean, there's no point because I mean, how many more shots like that? He got hit hard again.
Intercepted. That was a nice play there by number 21,
Good job by
Isaac
Jake
Zambek.
Older brother Jake Zambek also played for Saline. There's another flag. You cannot call roughing the passer on that. I don't know what they're going to call. But yeah, it's a 24-0 game. I think the officials are, you know, this is starting to get a little roughing the passer. Really, that's.
It was a tough call. He's been under pressure, but again, as we've seen both in the pro and the college ranks, you know, we sometimes don't know what roughing the passer. I mean, look at Clay Matthews against.
Well, I didn't think he hit him late, and he certainly wasn't leading with the crown of the helmet or anything like that. I just think sometimes when you're an official, especially in these kind of games, you have the tendency to overthink things. But gives Saline's defense a little bit more opportunity. And the ball's batted. Man.
And Pimpkins catches it himself and picks up a couple yards. But there's another injured player on the field for Skyline.
And that is going to be number 70 for them. Or we don't have number 70 on our rosters that they gave us. However,
no, we do not.
Boy, yeah, they are losing the war of attrition. They're losing the game overall tonight. I'm sure they just kind of want to go home.
It does not. It's not gone well for them thus far.
No, it has not. He's down for quite a bit too. That's not a good.
So, well, that's the risk that you run is that, as we get later in these games, you get tired, and Saline, like we've talked about all season long, does not generally play too many people both ways, and when that happens, the other team has a tendency to wear down.
Absolutely, yeah. But I think some of the JV kids are going to be getting some call-ups next week because, they don't have more than 2 or 3 reserves for O-line or wide receiver. I mean, they're quite thin, whereas when you have Saline, you have guys that are going 3 deep. You have 15, 16, 17 Saline varsity O-linemen, and then you have how many more JV kids that once they go to the playoffs are going to be called up. So, I mean, Saline has plenty of players to spare.
No question about it. Well, we hate to see these injuries, and it just, like you say, when they're low numbers to begin with, and then but it looks like,
he's holding his leg.
Yeah. Which is generally either an ankle or a knee.
It's not always a good sign, you're right.
Yeah, so.
You just hope he's okay at this point.
Right.
But then again, I mean, you gotta question what, he's putting a little bit of weight on it, which is a sign. I think he probably sprained it. Obviously you don't want to speculate, but Skyline's really beat up, and it's at this point now. I mean, you have another O-lineman injury. I mean, Skyline's starting 5 weren't able to keep Saline's defensive line back.
Correct.
Now, I think, with all due respect to Skyline's coaching staff, you're putting your quarterback in a big face of danger. I mean, you're 35 seconds away. Flat out, you're going to have a hard time scoring 24 points in 12 minutes.
Correct.
You just are. You've already used the timeout. So, I don't know what you would do if you were the head coach, but I think at this point I would definitely take him out.
Well, and you want to see what your younger quarterback can do. So, but it's.
And I understand
try and get a score. So it's 2nd and 9. Pimpkins back, throws it up,
and he's in pressure again. Yeah, I mean, I
throws it out of the end zone.
And I understand wanting to build a rapport, but it's been every time he drops back, he's getting hit. There's no break from it, and that's the bottom line. 3rd and 9 here for the Eagles. Skyline. I would be probably going to throw a fade route again like they have been. It's just been fade and trying to get some of their athletes to out-athlete Saline and out-jump them. That's the one good thing, though. Saline has some height at that secondary position with Hill, with Zambeck, with Griffin, with Greenwood. Pimpkin again with the snap.
And then again, he's under pressure, cuts it up inside. And nice tackle there.
Good
by
shoestring tackle,
Wisniewski.
because if he doesn't make that tackle, Pimpkin gets the first down. And look at it, he's sore again. Or they have another guy that's number 55 who gets up slowly, but.
And that's the offensive line that's been getting beat off the ball all night, and now they're banged up. And
that's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter, folks. Saline with a touchdown here. Skyline driving, and Saline has a comfortable 24-0 lead. Once again, we will be back on the air 3 weeks, from this Friday. Saline is playing Pioneer away next week, Huron the week after, and then Monroe the week of homecoming.
In addition to recognizing Major
And
Bonner
if
and
we
Kathy Osborne,
if
we
we
would
head
like
into
to
that
recognize all
Monroe
of our
game
hometown heroes
with
tonight.
2 more victories, we'll already be playoff eligible, and now then you'll be playing for seeding. And
And home field, I mean,
Right.
that's huge. That's absolutely. There's a difference between playing at Belleville and then the Hornets' best hope right now is that there's actually a great website for all of you guys out there. It's called Snooze to You, and it's a website that projects. It's kind of like how what's that guy's name with ESPN that does the NCAA tournament bracketology?
oh yeah, he's from
not-
Saline.
It's not.
There's a guy from Saline that does
I
it.
know, but it's not Lombardi. It's Joe something.
Right.
You guys will know who I'm talking about, though. But how they do, like, every week, they do, like, projected seating and location
Oh,
and
yeah,
region
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that. That's what this guy does with high school football.
Okay.
So it's a really interesting thing. And what he had was he actually had Saline being a 2 seed, Pioneer being a 1 because Pioneer had more playoff points coming into this game.
Right.
Obviously, I think that's going to change
Right.
before the season's over. But the big thing that I got was Saline's not in the same bracket as Belleville.
Right.
And that's, I think, is going to be their best bet. Because outside of Belleville, I don't really think there's anybody around that is better than they are. Canton has looked much weaker. And then you have Salem, who's, always okay, but they're inconsistent. They're always a 3-4 seed.
And he gets the first down, and Connor Terrick makes the tackle, but not before Pimpkin picks up the first down. There's no quitting the Pimpkin.
I will give him that. I will give him that.
So
The clock continues to roll here as we're under 12 minutes here in the fourth quarter. And that's been really their only offense. They've had a couple jump balls, but other than that,
handoff inside, nice play. Sniffed out by Saline, but
Solomon Putton on the run.
Putton on the carry. Again, Wisniewski on the tackle.
Brings up
So at least it gets, mixes it up a little bit.
well, and I'll tell you what, though. Pioneer has gone into this game at 80 playoff points. So Saline's able to go on the road and beat them. That is going to do wonders for their playoff seeding, especially with week 7 against Huron. We got, for beating Huron, we went into that game with like 85 and we came out with 88. I mean, we didn't hardly get anything for beating them just because, they don't beat anybody.
Correct.
But when you have
Pimpkin
teams
rolls
that
out,
beat other teams,
thrown in the corner of the end zone.
he just short. I don't think he got it. I think he was just short of the goal line.
Number
Gonna
17,
be out of bounds at the 1.
Dylan Hughes. So it'll be first and goal from the 1. This will be a true test of the defense, see if they can hold them out.
Well, it's a point of pride, too, of wanting to get the shutout. And it's a point of pride. And I'll give Skyline credit. I think it was my junior year, so that would have been 2 years ago, when Saline was projected to beat Skyline by quite a bit. And we were here, and Skyline came out and punched the Hornets in the mouth, and it took a last-second field goal by J.T. Turner to win the game for the Hornets. Pipkin, I don't think he got it. Oh, did he?
They're signaled touchdown.
Yeah, it looked like he fell short, but he may have run forward here. And Skyline gets on the board. They haven't brought out the extra point team yet. Are they going to go for 2 here? Can't imagine they would.
They may not have a kicking game.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, you have to be able to at least kick an extra point. I understand how punting can be a little bit more or whatever, but they've still yet. I think they're going for 2 here. To try and get this back to a 2-possession game, I guess. With 10:52 to go, however, and only 2 timeouts, that burn timeout looms huge right now.
It does.
And that was, you were talking about Pimpkin running back and forth. Good breakup.
Nice
That's a
breakup, it
heck
was.
of a breakup. The throw was behind him. So that might be all she wrote there, because now the Saline still has a 3-point lead, or a 3-possession lead. If they're able to get that, it's a 2-possession lead. Obviously, they'd still have to get 2 points of 2 2-point conversions. Airball warming up, so maybe you are going to see the ones go back out there.
You might, and then don't be surprised to see an onside kick here either.
The question is, do they trust themselves to execute that? That's the thing.
Yeah, but Skyline has to work on that as well.
They
Even if this game may be out of hand for them, there may be a close game where they need it.
That's true. That is true.
And why not execute it against the best team or one of the best teams in your conference?
Absolutely. Well, you don't have the hands team out there poking out with the hands team, so I don't think they're expecting it. Normally, if you saw the hands team, you'd have Griffin up there, you'd have Monday up there, you'd have Murphy up there. We haven't seen much of Brandon Murphy tonight. I wonder if he's hurt or something, but we've seen Sitterly a lot, but we haven't seen a lot of Murphy.
Official timeout, something's going on.
I don't know what the... he's yelling at the official to get on the right side. Don't see that very often. And I tell you what, folks, Saline had some coaching. Oh, they are going to go. Or,
oh, no, it's a squib kick.
Oh, man.
Whoa.
A good return, though, by, I think that was Max Fair. The guard defensive linebacker combo did a good job getting to about the 40-yard line.
Too bad he was almost choked out on the play.
No
but,
kidding.
He's going to remember that play, and he's going to tell everybody, including his kids, 30 years from now, yeah, your dad was returning that kickoff. It's spectacular. Almost scored. So it is our ball back in at quarterback.
And it's that first string offensive line, too.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of we've seen 3 offensive guards in for the Hornets at left guard. So I guess they're still going with that play-a-tune system.
And off to Monday. Cuts it up inside. Nice blocking by the official. And he carries it over the 45-yard line into the Skyline territory down to the 44-yard line.
Good return or good run there for Saline.
Hey, but when we talk about vision, don't be afraid to use the official. If he can pick somebody off, use him.
Absolutely.
And he cut right up inside of him.
Surprise, Saline's still going up tempo.
Yeah.
Monday again. I mean, another first down. Every first down does stop the clock momentarily in high school football while they reset the chains here. But Saline with 2 gaping runs.
And I like to see that play by Jones. He gave Monday a little shove and got an extra yard out of it. I'm not sure Monday appreciated it, but Jones was doing his job.
And Saline's going to continue to run it. Good fake there. He
Hayden
might
Scott.
be gone. He has one tackler to beat. He's gone.
Pushed
man,
him out at
1 or 2. Yeah.
nice.
Just a simple bootleg there. Simple misdirection. Skylines had all their defenders flowing to the left side. Arbaugh does the bootleg back to the right. And, Spike, we called him Spike, Aiden Smith, with plenty
a nice
of room
run.
Here. And Saline, if they're able to punch it in here.
So they give it to Scott again and see if he can run it in, and it
he
is.
will fall forward. Touchdown, Saline, and that's probably going to be all for the first stringers, at least I think so. That's how you want to go out. Quick score, 2 gaping runs, and Saline increases their lead to 30-6.
And it took him about a minute to score.
It did.
So I hear in my headset they're calling for you, Nathan, on the sidelines. They want you to go in now. So relive your glory. But no, it was good to see, and I think they wanted to prove something.
They did. Because so far they've run pretty well. They've gotten solid gains. There's not been a lot of tackles behind. The running backs have shown good patience, as we mentioned, letting the play develop, letting the blockers develop in front of them. But that's a good run by Saline, and they increase their lead back to 25. And now if you're Skyline, I can't imagine you bring Pipkin back in. They might. I'd have taken him out after last drive, but for all intents and purposes, this game is decided.
It is.
So, it's just been, your offensive line's banged up, and he's taken hit after hit. And it may not be, a lot of times with quarterback, it's not one hit, it's a cumulative effect. It's a cumulative thing, and that's the thing that I think, you never know how banged up they are going to be. We saw with Arbaugh, he got banged up against Chippewa Valley, went back in the game for the rest of the game. Then after the game, word comes out, he has a little bit of internal bleeding, has a bad concussion, and he's out for, lucky he wasn't out for more than he was.
Correct.
But, you don't want to put yourself in that spot. It's just because you don't look hurt now doesn't mean that something won't result after.
Correct.
Turner to kick now for the Hornets. And
Let's see if he tries to get a touchback going this direction now.
And it's going to be a slow kick.
And for whatever reason, Skyline was up on that play, and he had to go back for the kick. And that was puzzling. I don't know if they thought Saline was going to try a pooch kick or something. And the coach was over.
Yeah.
Well, the coach was probably thinking like we've been thinking is, they're working on certain things, but they probably overthought it on that play.
You're seeing the Saline first stringers come back out again. But I think the one reason why they're bringing the ones out is probably because I don't think the defensive line has anything more to prove tonight. I think the secondary does a little bit, though. They have gotten beat a couple times on those passes, and even though they're kind of 50-50 plays, you have to be able to come up with those. Number 21 for the Hornets, Zambak, has had a phenomenal game. Had that interception taken away, had that great pass breakup, and he was the main reason stopping their returner dead in his tracks and forced him to bounce outside before help arrived. Pimpkin under pressure again, Saban with the sack.
He almost fumbled the ball.
He did, yeah. I mean, I can't figure out why he's still in the game. I just can't,
He has a death wish. Nah.
Now
He's just a competitor. He's just a competitor.
I know no player is going to want to go on, but as a coach, your responsibility is after a while you have to yank them out. You have to do it for your own well-being because you'll get guys at all levels that they'll be playing even though if they have a concussion or they know something's not right, they'll try and play through it. It's that old school mentality of thinking. And as a coach, it's your job. You have to know at this point that, you're only risking next week and the week
And
after.
again, they're going to have to burn a timeout because he ran to the sideline after getting tackled, and it took him a long time to get there, and he never made it back to the huddle until 6 seconds remained on the play clock.
Yeah.
It's just not using some coaching faux pas.
I don't even necessarily think it's on the players at this point. I mean, they're not the ones making the call to run to the sideline and get the cadence in. But you'd think after the first time you screwed up and had to burn a timeout, that would have probably been the end of that. But, you have to use another timeout. Your quarterback's getting beat to shreds, and you're in the shadow of your own end zone.
Exactly.
It looks like we are getting another quarterback warm-up for Saline. Number 17, Anthony Ferrari, who did a phenomenal job filling in those two games. It's not often you can bring in a JV or sophomore quarterback, and they're able to beat Grand Rapids, and they killed Ypsilanti Lincoln. He had some good whatever, so I think we are going to see the second stringers come in here, especially if Saline's either.
Dexter on top of Adrian, 28-14. And Jackson on top of Chelsea, 29-14.
Oh, Chelsea's trailing again this week, 29-14, and Dexter's thumping on Adrian. So
they're about to improve to 3-2. Yeah, when's the last time they won 3 games?
long before you were
were
born. So, but their quarterback, his uncle played quarterback at nice ball down. For the pressure that Pimpkins was under, he threw
He did.
Nice ball out there.
I mean, another half second, he fumbles the ball in the end zone, and it's either a safety or a touchdown for Saline. 3rd 21, the ball's now at the 5.
But Dexter's quarterback's a kid by the name of Colton Parachek. His uncle is a teacher here at Saline High School.
Oh, Brent Parachek, yeah.
Right, Brent Parachek, and was a quarterback at Eastern Michigan, so maybe he got a few pointers from that, but he's a sophomore. And so Dexter may make some noise in the coming years. Like I say, they got a coaching change, and looks like they're on their way to their 3rd victory, and they got Tecumseh next week, so they can pick up their 4th. I guarantee you we've never heard that in a long time with Dexter. Pimpkin keeps it and just gets
demolished.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wisniewski on the tack. So brings up 4th and about
4th and a mile, yeah.
They've got to punt it.
They do, yeah. I mean, and it's just
with 8:30 remaining here in the game.
Yeah, by the time Saline gets the thing, we're going to be under 8 minutes here, just about 8 minutes. So Saline's able to score a touchdown here. We do get to a running clock here, folks. But it's just been a couple of things. Sorgatz has been coaching Skyline for the last several years now. But, I mean, I just think some of the things that he's done are reminiscent of a rookie coach. Maybe trying to trick Saline a little bit with running to the sideline and getting the play calls. But I mean, we saw 3 more really hard hits,
Right.
and I'm trying to think for the life of me whether, and I can't come up with a reason. I just can't.
Malinzak on the return brings it inside the 30 down to the 26-yard line, and that's the first time he's really got to return the ball. And
Well, the ones come back out again. Oh wait, no, never mind.
now we
St.
got a
no,
wholesale changes. Ferrari comes in, and
Well, St. Lawrence moves over to the right, and he has been starting for the Hornets, and Schultz, number 54, was rotating at guard. So they do have some guys, but Bars is new, number 75, Josh Bars, lacrosse player, and Clay Curtis, number 72, the Hornets backup center. So they do have
some new receivers out there. So
legal substitution on Skyline. So that's going to be a 5-yard penalty.
well, they happen to have 12 still on the field. So
It's just been a rough night in general for them.
and they were a little shocked by that, and then they looked around and counted, and oh yeah, we got 12. So that gives Saline 5 more yards. It'll be 1st and 5 from the 21-yard line.
And I think you're going to see a lot of running by Saline. A lot of running and a lot of running. And a
Ferrari
fumble
fumbles the snap, and
wasn't a great snap. And those are the things your second stringers are going to need to work out here.
this is why you want to get them playing time.
Exactly.
And Ferrari comes out, and
Griffin and the Wildcat. Yeah.
Luke Hoyt goes in, and is it Griffin at quarterback? It appears to be. Or is it Luke
That's
Hoyt?
Griffin. No, that's Griffin in at QB. That's Robinson. That's Larry Robinson, the freshman
the
we were talking about.
freshman,
Yeah. Or that's Larry, the athletic that we were talking about. That was getting some playing time in that Grand Rapids game. And yeah, this drive's not really going anywhere here, but we're gonna get another. I don't know what the call is now.
Timeout. Officials timeout for something. Must be another injury.
I think the Skyline coach is barking at one of the officials or something. It doesn't look like anybody's hurt, but yeah, you're going to see Saline, and this is the future for them. You got number 72 for them, Dodson, who's going to probably be starting at offensive tackle next year. You got St. Lawrence, you got Bars, you got Schultz. So they have a lot of guys in there who definitely are going to be rocks of that offensive line, especially St. Lawrence and especially Schultz.
Nice bullet pass by Ferrari. Completes it to Hayden Scott. Gets it back to the original line of scrimmage. Bring up 4th and 10.
The question here is, do you have Turner kick it? Maybe
They
it's
bring
4th
Robinson
and down.
back out.
Yeah, 4th and down. Why not? Burn a little bit more clock, run it, and then they're at the point. They're only at the 25-yard line. I don't think it's a bad idea at all.
And you wouldn't expect Robinson to throw the ball, so let's see if Skyline picks up on that.
Saline really starting to use the clock now here, and he's going to be next year. He's going to have a great chance to start at quarterback because from what all I hear, he's the most athletic quarterback Saline's had since Josh Jackson. We all know how Josh is doing.
But he does throw it. He throws the ball.
Far side
flag on the play.
It
was a nice hard toss.
Robbie
Rolling
Ferrari's
out.
got to make that catch. I mean, that was a phenomenal throw. Hit him right in the chest plate.
Well, the thing is, he was used to his brother throwing to him, and so now he had a new one, so maybe it's different speed. But there is a flag on the play, and this is interesting. Who's it going to be on?
It came from the far side of the field. That's always
no flag. They're picking it up.
Yeah.
So the ball goes over on downs to Skyline.
And they're bringing in the ones, boy. I'm quite surprised. Yeah, they're putting the first stringers back in. Maybe Baldus, number 97, substituting in. But maybe now you are going to have a couple substitutions. Hill checks out, Ashby checks out, but you still have a lot of the Hornets. Griffin's still in there, Tarek's still in there, Morrison's still in there, Clark's still in there, Gammo, Wisniewski. Yeah, but Pipkins is going to be back in there again. And, you just wonder what's going through Sorgens' mind. You just have to wonder. I mean, you're just putting your quarterback. I mean, you're playing with fire at this point. You're down by 25 points and there's 6 minutes left. And he's lucky he already hasn't gotten hurt from all the hits he's been taking. And he's under pressure again.
And why Wisniewski? But he's directing traffic, keeps the ball.
And you don't want your quarterback taking those kind of hits. He got thrown to the ground hard again.
And he's going to get up slow. And again, Zam back on the tackle.
And now you're going to get a bunch of substitutions in. Looks like Henry Conan, who I thought played offensive line, is going to check in for Saline. And now we're going to kind of get the first stringers to empty the bench, which I can complete with only 5 minutes and change to go here. 2nd and 1. Skyline not in any particular hurry. Conan's a big guy. I know he had a chance to he was competing for that starting guard spot. Fortunately didn't get it, but he is a big boy. And I mean, he's just, we're just running through.
Oh, nice catch.
Over the hands of Clark, yeah.
And then that's Ewing again. Ewing's been his primary target, and he's made a lot of nice plays.
Well, he's had some good throws, too.
Oh, he has.
Who is the guy? Skyline had a quarterback for the last several years. I think his name was Davis or something like that. But Davis didn't have the world's best arm, but I've been impressed with what Pimpkin's been doing.
Well, they had Andrew Koff a few years back ago, and then he gave up football his senior year because he was going to play hockey at the University of Michigan. But he was their best quarterback in the last several years.
And that's the thing I don't understand about the NR. Look who they have. Dalen Hayes, who's now playing at Notre Dame. Oh man, that's
a tough call on Orrin Heft. It looked like he read that play perfectly. It looked like he did not come through the receiver. The timing would look good, but again, we talk about officials who are learning, and you can say they're veteran or whatever, but they don't get the film review. They don't get the stuff that the collegiate and the professional officials get. So.
But you have to know the down and distance of the game here too. I mean, the game's decided. There's 4 minutes and change. I mean, you don't really need to be, unless it's egregiously bad. I mean, if it's borderline, I think you got to let them play at this point. I mean, as long as nobody's, killing the other person. I mean, there's really no difference between the 31-6 game and a 31-13 game. So
Pipkins back to pass, throws it down over the middle. Oh, hit number 5 in the hands and wasn't able to haul it in. I think Jalen Cooper. The problem with that is Cooper turned the wrong way, and
he did.
Had he turned the other way, would have hit him right in stride, and it would have been unfortunately 6.
It would, yeah, it would. Well, and that's the thing too, going after Jordan Harris. I mean, they're trying to take advantage of his size. He's only 5'4", so I mean, he's definitely. I mean, you're trying to put your tallest wide receiver against him. And you're trying to, because if you can put it on the mark, I mean, he's going to have a hard time knocking it down. And now you're seeing all the reserves come in. And this is important for them. You got Baldus Conan in, Holloway in.
And they bring the blitz, and he almost gets home. Pimpkins carries it outside, inside the around. 20, down about the 15.
And he fumbled the ball. And I think Saline got it. And they
did get it.
That's the 3rd fumble forced by the Saline defense. And we got another. The officials are waving. Oh, I think one of the Saline. 97. I mean, what can you say? I mean, that's the 3rd. I mean, they are absolutely, and they've been absolutely hampered with injuries. But they've, at this point, Skyline, flat out, their coaching staff has only themselves to blame. That's the bottom line. Because this is kind of getting ridiculous at this point.
Well, but you want the kids want to play.
I know
but you have to be smart about it.
You do.
So what you're saying is, let's be smart about it. Let's not get anybody hurt. You still have over half your season to go, and you have a limited roster.
You have a very limited roster. You've already had 2 offensive line starters knocked out of the game, and you had one of your D-line starters, and now you have one of your skill position players who's limping off. I mean, it's just,
But hopefully it's just a cramp. He is walking on. But, it just, and that's your sophomore. That's your star D-back coming up, and you really can't afford to lose him. You want to get him as much experience as a sophomore as you can.
And now we're getting Ryan Sutherland, senior left guard. Alex Volling-Frank checks in at left tackle. Number 77, Curtis still in. Colton Watson at right guard. And number 77 or 76.
Saline takes
They
over.
they have a new kid. I'm sorry, number 67. Still haven't got his roster name yet, but I did meet him and talk to him, and he was a transfer from Wisconsin. So Saline, I mean, this is what they're doing. They're bringing in, they're 3 deep at this point, so they can afford to be a little bit more because they have so many people.
And Skyline's actually making some substitutions finally as well, and that's a good thing.
That is a good thing. Not a great snap.
But a nice catch by Ferrari, handoff to Hayden Scott.
I think that's Ryan Liebert,
Oh, it is.
Liebert that falls forward.
It is Liebert.
And I think
You're right.
Saline's going to be content. That was about a 3-4 yard gain here. You're not going to see them in any hurry at all. They're going to be content. At this point, what they need is maybe 1 or 2 first downs and then just to run out the clock here. You get Spencer Dickensheets in. So, yeah, you're starting to see a lot of the reserve. I wonder what happened to Murphy because I don't think we saw him tonight.
We did not.
I wonder if it's an academic issue or something because I don't even see him on the sideline.
Well, we don't want to speculate to that. But,
I know. You're just wondering, because a lot of times if a guy's hurt too, maybe it's some family thing you don't know.
Could be, or Nathan, I heard he might be out with your girlfriend tonight, so we just don't speculate on those type of things. It's, but we did not see him. So, I did see somebody in a wheelchair on the sideline.
That was Pateri.
Was that Pateri?
Yeah, that was Nick Pateri, who's.
Yeah. And
Third
Grandma
one.
usually tunes in and listens to us from Florida, so she's glad to hear that he had smiles on his face, Grandma. So.
And Robinson now running around. He
Oh.
got tripped up by the turf monster.
Yeah.
And he had it too. I think he had
He
the first
did.
down if he doesn't fall.
He did.
3 minutes and change now, and I think Saline's going to punt it. Probably going to be content.
Yep, they
Still
are
have
gonna
30 seconds. Yeah, now they're going to punt it. Now they're going to punt it. But, yeah, they have the opportunity to take this almost down to 2.5 minutes and then punt it.
Exactly.
And then, then at that point the game's pretty much all but over. 15 seconds still. What they might do is they might just take the play clock down to 1 and call a timeout. But normally what would happen is you're going to see Polka right next to the referee, which you don't see this time. Cropsy end-over-end kick.
Oh, he fumbles it, and who
I
recovers
I
it?
think Saline was there. I'd be surprised if they didn't. There was a bunch of Saline guys in the area. Or did Skyline get it? Looks like he got it back.
Yeah.
Most of the time when you see a fumbled snap like that, and there's 5 Saline guys and only 1 Skyline there, it's the Skyline guy or the Saline guy that's going to come up with it. Only
And
2
that was Noah Nelson there, and he almost stole it from the receiver, but he fell straight down on it. So with 2:35 remaining, see who comes in at quarterback for Skyline.
I think they got a new number 17.
It's Pimpkin again.
Is it? Oh,
Yeah,
thought
I
number
mean
17.
he's in the huddle whether he's playing quarterback or not. Can't tell you, but he is out there. The backup is number 9, and the way he fumbled that first snap, I would want to get him some experience.
Yeah, I don't know what they don't know what they're doing at this point either. They're just running around and.
But they called their last timeout because they weren't ready on the change of possession, and the play clock was down to 3. So that can be frustrating.
If you're a coach, it's like you tell the twos they're going in, and they don't know. A lot of this has to be on the players too. But then I think blame has to be spread both ways. I think there's definitely been some questionable coaching decisions, but I think some of the players too have made mistakes. But at the same time, I think that there's been a couple ticky-tack fouls both ways, and that's never a good thing. But with 2 minutes and change here, Skyline's just looking to get out of here without suffering any more damage. That's kind of where they're at this point.
Exactly.
That's all you can say about that. They're trying not to have anybody else hurt. I mean, they 25-point loss to your in-conference opponent. You've already had enough injuries, and you don't exactly have a lot of guys. I mean, now at this point, you could probably count the amount of substitutions that they have on your 2 hands.
Right.
And
Right.
Saline's on both sides probably has 30, 35.
Handoff on the inside. Nice run there by number 12. And he picks up about 23-yard line. 23 yards.
Before he's eventually
Zervon Hinton on the carry.
Eventually run down there by Nick Zancy, number 20.
Zancy on the tackle. That's good to see Nick getting some playing time. He would rather tackle him 10 yards back.
We're going to run it again. And brought down. Good tackle there by Holloway. Clark in there. Baldus going to check back in. And looks like Owen Heff going to check back in. Conan checks out. Zancy checks out.
Well, it's good to get all these guys some playing time.
It is. And I think Skyline's finally starting to slow down here. Under 2 minutes to go here. There is no 2-minute warning in high school football, folks. Pimpkin now. Again. Handoff. And he's going to be stopped short, and that's going to keep the clock moving, which is always a good thing. They get the first down, the clock stops briefly. But third and change here, and even if they are able to get it here, they can almost take it down to under 1 minute. 30 seconds left on the play clock, and we're a minute 23.
But I think maybe for a little, if you're going to play Pimpkin, then you might as well try and score and get a little boost going into your next game.
Problem is, if you let him pass back like that, and you're also putting him at the risk. Great play by Henry Conan, getting off the tackle, wearing the old 74 that I wore the last 2-3 years.
Well, that reminded me a lot of you, man. That type of play.
Oh man!
But you were usually playing offense, that was called holding back.
It was. And 4th and 2 now, folks, and
with under about 40 seconds remaining here in the contest.
Looks like we're gonna have one more play here, and if they're not able to get the first down, that will be pretty much all she wrote here. There won't have to be another snap. Pimpkin with the run, and
hand
they
off
will
to
get
number
it.
12, and he picks up the first down.
25 seconds to go here. How aggressive are you going to see Skyline? Are they going to start taking shots for the end zone, or are they just going to try and run out the clock here? You're going to get the signal from the referee here to roll the clock here. Right. Once they get out, 25 seconds still to go here, and I think the clock does stop because he ran out of bounds.
Yeah. Inside of 2 minutes. Again, a handoff to number 12.
That's another play by Conan.
And a fumble.
I think he's down. I think they're going to rule that he was down. But, boy, that's another great tackle by Conan. Maybe as a future at D-line.
And that'll probably be the last play of the game.
It will.
It is.
And Saline improves to 4-1 on the year with a 31-6 dominating victory over the Ann Arbor Skyline Eagles. The Hornets are on the road next week and the week after against Pioneer and Huron, respectively. Thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, I'm Nathan Stearns.
And I'm Mitch Gashi. Good night, everyone.
Saline High School has enjoyed hosting Ann Arbor Skyline and their fans. We look forward to seeing you at future events. The Hornets are back in action next Friday at Ann Arbor Pioneer.